What is up, you guys? Welcome to my Jelly Star review. I'm going to really be focusing on the bad parts of this phone in this video. So if you want to see the good parts, go watch another video. I will brief over them as quickly as I can, but this phone does have some bad to it, so keep watching if you want to hear that. So this is a very mini phone, as you can see here, comparison to the Gab phone, which most of you guys know me for, and the Pixel 3. As you can see, it's very small, you know. A lot of people buy these to, digitally detox or whatever while still having access to all the stuff they need. And for me, that worked. My screen time went to from about like 6 hours to 3 hours, which is great. All right, let's start on the good. This phone is fast. As you can see, I am playing Fortnite right now. This phone really supports just about any game you can throw at it. The specs has a Helio G99, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 gigabytes of storage. So for that, you have a processor that is about equivalent, but a little bit worse than a Snapdragon 845, which, while a couple years old, was a flagship processor for that time. So I'm going to let it load into a game here just so you can see a little bit of the performance. I'm not going to go too far into the game, but from what you can see here, it's pretty smooth. It's running about 30 FPS, which is the max Fortnite will let you go on this phone. It's pushing a 3-inch 480p screen, so not really much to push here. It's obviously very easy to run this game at 480p, so, But yeah, so the phone's fast. Everything is just about instant. Let's load up Roblox here. I was in a game earlier, so let's close out of that just so I can get a fair comparison. Apologize about that. Here we go. And we're in. So yeah, fast. You're not missing out on anything. I had almost no scaling issues, which a lot of you small phone users will be familiar with. I had almost none of those on this, which is good. Has a headphone jack, IR emitter, either 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card with an SD card slot. You got the little action button, whatever, right here. Oh, apologies. Got the little action button. And another thing is that this phone has USB power delivery in its USB-C slot. So I have my Cat Flip S22 right here, and one of the main issues I had with it was that it would not charge at every charger I plugged it into. So I'm going to show you an example here. I'm going to plug it into my computer, which has a USB-C to C thing, and as you can see here, it's not charging. But when I plug it into the Jelly Star, you can see it charges. And that's because this phone supports USB power delivery. So with the Cat Flip S22, I would have a lot of issues connecting it to my Chromebook, connecting it to my Chromebook charger, just a lot of that stuff that really was not ideal when I needed it. This phone also has 5 GHz Wi-Fi, which really is a given in this day and age, but apparently the Cat Flip S22 does not have it, and you can really feel that in the software. The touchscreen is significantly more accurate than the Cat Flip S22. So if I go to let's find my notes app here. There we go. I can type okay. It's not amazing, but it is so much better. Sorry. Also, I haven't typed in this thing in about a week, so take that as you will. This has full Android 13, including Android Auto. So you have the Play Store, you have whatever. Let's see here about phone. Sorry, this will show some of my personal information. Android 13, yeah. And for $230 from Amazon, which is the only place you should buy it, by the way, or eBay, if you want it used. Pretty good. Well, actually really good, because this is the only smartphone this size, this kind of, rank, this performance. All right. Let's go over the bad. You see here, it's downloading an update. This is not a software update. This is a Google Play system update. So, what does that mean and why should you care? So, while the Google Play system update updates some of the internal apps to be more secure, the Android security update updates your entire OS to be more secure against like physical attacks. You know, if someone wanted to remotely hack into your phone, that could also be dependent on your Android security update. But these are really important. In fact, just I think it was last year or 2 years ago, someone found a lock screen bug, which while your phone was locked, the person could unlock your phone and go through all of your stuff. That's obviously dangerous. And older phones are still subject to that. There's a lot of under the hood stuff that people just don't realize goes on. So this phone was released late last year. I think it was like September, October, somewhere that time. And the security update on this phone is from June of that year. So that's just awful. If you get this phone, you can't expect any kind of Android update or software support. So that really sucks. Another issue I found, which is not that big, is that the screen always feels like a frame behind where you're actually scrolling. So if you compare this to like an iPhone or Pixel or something similar at 60 hertz, this phone just feels like a touch less responsive, especially when you're scrolling. The typing experience is a little bit hard. As you can see there, I was making a lot of typos, but I think this is redeemed by the fact that this phone actually supports offline voice transcription. Excuse me. Offline voice transcription. Yeah, so if I turned off the Wi-Fi here, it would still work. And the way I can tell it supports that is if I go into this Gboard settings here and I go to voice typing, I can find it. Another bad thing is that the data speeds off of Wi-Fi were just not what I would have liked. I get 7 to 12 megabits per second, maybe up to 50, and that's because this phone does not have 5G, and I live in an area where T-Mobile's 5G is very good. Moving on to that, Verizon and AT&T are really not recommended for this phone. A lot of people have issues with the AT&T specifically, but I've also seen some subreddit posts on Verizon having issues. So you should really only be using this phone if you use T-Mobile or one of its MVNOs. The battery life it's okay. As your usage gets less because of the small screen, you'll notice that you can actually get through the day. But in my experience, when I first started, the first couple days, it was like dying left and right on me because, I'm addicted to my phone. The screen, even though it's small, and I think it's definitely usable, the form factor that it's in is just, it's hard to kind of reach. I don't like reaching over to the middle of my hand. It's a little uncomfortable. So in comparison to something like this, which is much thinner, but also has a lot more width, I find it a lot easier to maneuver around this phone compared to this. Along with the body, this whole phone is plastic. It's not durable. As you can see, I have some little scuffs around the corners. And I've seen some reports that the glass here is made of something called Panda Glass, which is not Gorilla Glass, which means it's kind of easy to break. Good thing is that this phone, they do sell screen replacements. So if you do break the phone, it's about $50. And yeah, that's really all I have. That's all my complaints. And while it does sound like a lot, I think that this phone overall really does make up for it. It is such a novelty special device, and I really did enjoy my time using it. I just want to reiterate that I had almost no usability problems with this phone in comparison to a normal phone, or even like the Cat Flip S22. This was unusable. It was like hell every day I used this phone. So moving to this tiny phone from that is just a godsend. Now, you may notice from my Snapchat, I am using a Pixel 8a right now, but that's more because I had a good carrier deal on it, and I decided to pick that up. After that, I might move back to this phone. Yeah, just pushing the end of the video right now. Sorry about that. If you're on the edge, buy it, return it if you don't like it. That's really all I gotta say because I feel like it is a worthwhile purchase.